AITA for telling my friend her parents bought her house, not her. Background information. I, a 28-year-old female, have a buddy, also a 28-year-old female, who acquired a home late last year. That townhouse is fantastic, and I've been over there several times to assist with moving and decorating, as well as to just hang out with them. She and her partner moved into the home because her parents bought it for them, as stated in the title. I have absolutely no objections to this since the housing market is now unfavorable for purchasers. Therefore, all the more credit to them for becoming homeowners. It's terrible that I have lately inherited my parents' home, which is a 3-bedroom ranch in the country. The problem: we went appliance shopping since most of the furniture and appliances in the home were 10-15 years old or older. In the middle of a conversation with an employee whom I had asked to propose some minor products such as toasters and kettles, the employee casually inquired as to whether or not I was planning on moving out. When I informed him I was relocating, he inquired as to whether I had purchased or leased. I told him I had purchased the home since it was just simpler and less difficult than telling him I had inherited it. He said that was okay with him and then started talking about toasters again when my buddy interrupted and pointed out that I had inherited my home rather than bought it. The employee became silent and I looked at her with a puzzled expression. As if I wasn't paying attention, she proceeded by stating, "Yeah, I bought my home." I inquired, "Is it really that important?" "I'm not here to tell this man about my personal problems. I'm here to purchase some kitchen items." Then she smirked and remarked, "It's just for the record," which just added to my confusion and irritation. "I'm sure you can see where this is heading." I said, "Oh, all right, well, just for the record, your parents bought your home for you," I said. The staff led swiftly, and she went out the door of the establishment. When I caught up with her, she called me a jerk and claimed I was a complete jerk for pointing out that she couldn't afford to buy a house without the support of her parents. I answered with a statement that was quite similar to his. My parents also assisted me in obtaining a home, but in an extremely awful manner. My girlfriend agrees with me, claiming that she was the one who opened the door, but our other pals are divided fairly evenly in their opinions. Edit: this blew up in my face. I apologize for not being clear with my pals who are split 50/50. Half believe I'm NTA and the other half believe we are both jerks. I should not have exacerbated the situation. Story 2. What do if I don't invite my wife to my birthday party? Please bear with me while I explain what I'm about to say. I, a 32-year-old man, adore my wife, 32 female. When it comes to my circle of friends, she, on the other hand, has some anxieties. She states that while I'm with them, I seem to be having a far better time than when I'm with her. She also claims that one of my friends has a thing for me, which makes her feel uncomfortable. I guarantee you that I love my wife, and that we have discussed this and how none of this is true. She is presently undergoing treatment, but it is still difficult for her to accept. Even while she has never requested that I stop seeing them or anything like that, I am well aware that she is displeased when I go out with them. I also informed my buddy, who rumor has it that he had a thing for me, that my wife was not happy with our connection, and that we would have to maintain a certain amount of space. The reality is that I really like my circle of friends. We always have a good time together, and I would hate for our relationship to be lost in the process. I have a birthday coming up next Thursday, and my wife has asked me several times what my plans are and what would make me happy. She gets more excited about my birthday than I do. After much thought, I finally told her that I would be having dinner with her and my parents on Thursday, dinner exclusively with her on Friday, and throwing a party with my friends on Saturday while she could stay at home and sleep. She has to work really early on Sunday. I thought this was a reasonable plan, but she did not agree. It made her very furious because it makes her sad because in 8 years I have never arranged a party, no matter how much she urged, since I despise my birthday, which is true, but now with this group of pals I'm excited and planning a party that will not even involve her. I informed her that I did include her by spending time with her on Thursday and Friday of this week, and that if she had invited me, I would have said yes without hesitation. Then I informed her that I'd prefer not to get into a fight with her and that I was canceling the party altogether. She reflected on the situation and concluded that I was probably correct and that she shouldn't be so angry. She said that she didn't want to disrupt my birthday celebrations and that I could go with the party arrangements as planned. But now I'm not so convinced about it. Is it better for me to cancel this party? She will not be attending this party since she is required to work on that particular day. Story 3. AITA for telling my parents they put all their chips on the wrong kid so they get to deal with the consequences. This is going to sound terrible, but please bear with me. I, 22 female, grew up with a sister who was a few years older than me and who went away the previous year. When we were younger, she was the most popular kid in school and tormented me mercilessly, but no one ever believed me when I told them. As a teenager, she was involved in a serious accident because she was doing something dumb that she had been warned not to do, and she was left paralyzed from the neck down. Due to the fact that my parents dedicated almost all of their time to caring for her and appeared to entirely forget about me, I learned to take care of myself since they never had time to do so for me. My grandparents, at the very least, would take me out to eat on my birthdays and sometimes let me spend the night at their house. I was able to go into a very excellent institution on a scholarship thanks to the assistance of my grandparents and a very good guidance counselor. I moved out as soon as I was able after graduating. During the whole time I was in university, my parents never even sent me a text message. I had only seen them once in 3 years, when I went to see my grandparents. To be quite honest, I'm pleased that my sister died away early last year. She was in a bad mood. She had a strong desire to die. I paid her a visit a couple of months before she passed away, and we were able to mend our relationship. I don't hold grudges against her anymore. We were kids once, and stuff like that happens. Following the funeral, my parents began calling me and attempting to be as close as possible. I didn't pay attention to it. My sister was just a child, but my parents were grown-ups who were uninterested in me. Although the circumstance was difficult, there were a number of basic minimum things they might have done that they chose not to do. Their behavior does not change overnight from not speaking to me for years to behaving like devoted parents on a dime. I'm now enrolled in a competitive PhD program, therefore the less stress I can get from outside sources, the better. I was staying with my grandparents for the holiday break, and my folks were making an effort to seem like we were all friends and wanted to go out to lunch, which made me frustrated and annoyed. I ultimately informed them that I wasn't interested in spending time with them right now and that if they wanted a relationship in the future, they needed to back off and genuinely work on building one rather than attempting to pretend that nothing was wrong with their relationship. They were enraged, and they attempted to make me feel guilty by telling me that I didn't realize how difficult it was to have a severely impaired kid, and that she needed their assistance more than I did. Inquired as to whether or not we would even be having a discussion about grabbing lunch together while I was in town if my sister was still living. They said that we would. Instead of waiting for a response, I informed them that they had placed all of their chips on a terrible gamble, and that they would have to deal with the consequences. They would not be allowed to slip back into my life whenever it was convenient for them. It's time to bring on the family drama. My grandparents are on my side, but my aunts believe it was a harsh thing to say at a time when my parents are mourning and trying to put their lives back together. I'm prepared to be TA, I suppose, since I don't really regret telling them off, but I'm not sure whether this is AH territory or simply TA territory.